Hi everyone, Macsen here. Welcome to my latest Let's Play, Master of Orion Conquer the Stars. Now, Master of Orion Conquer the Stars is basically a reboot of the Master of Orion series. Master of Orion is a 4X space-based strategy game that many people are very fond of, especially the first couple of games in the series, who were made by Microprose, those games. Sadly, those companies are basically defunct or owned by other companies these days. There was a third iteration of Master of Orion made by a completely different company, and they did an absolutely terrible job on the game. But since then, Master of Orion has changed hands again and now are owned by Wargaming.net, and this is the first version of the game that they are making. They've gotten NGD Studios to make this game, which you can see here. They're a game developer down in Argentina. Now, this version of the game you see here is actually not finalized. It's actually in early access. This is the second version of the early access game or patch that has been made available to players, and you can actually get hold of this already. You can buy it on Steam or on Good Old Games, for example, but yeah, it's early access, so it's not actually a finalized version of the game. For an early access game though, I have to say it's very polished. I've been very impressed so far in the 20 or so hours that I've played of the game. I should also thank Wargaming.net as well. Someone was kind enough to provide me with a Steam key. That's how I'm able to do this Let's Play for you. And I believe they've done that for a variety of other YouTubers as well. Now, let's actually start a game then. So let's start a single player game. There are currently 9 different civilizations that you can choose from to play as within the second version of the early access that has been made available. A couple more civilizations are set to be released, if not in the next early access version, then by the release of the game. Those are the Darlock and the Silicoid. Many of these races will actually be very familiar to you if you played Master of Orion 2, for example. I believe all of them were actually in that game. Perhaps maybe not the Terrans, I can't remember them, but my memory might be incorrect. The graphics are very impressive actually. It's in a cartoony style, but I very much like them. All of the races have different bonuses. You can see some of them here. And they actually are fully voiced by very impressive voice recording artists as well. The Alkari, for example, is voiced by Mark Hamill, I believe, from Star Wars. And the humans are by Q from the Star Trek series. I can't remember his name. Something Lancey. If I actually click on one of these, Terrans for example.
It was during the darkest times of human history that the age of the Khans
You can hear the voiceover for that then. That was Michael Dorn, who played Worf in the Star Trek series as well. So they've got a very impressive voiceover talent in the game. This is the custom race options that you can choose as well, should you wish. I'm not going to be using this in this game. No, I'm going to play it as one of these stock races. In the second early access version of the game, 3 more races were made available to play than the first version of early access. Those races were the Klakon, the Mekla and the Terrans, and it's actually the Terrans who I'm going to be playing as during this Let's Play. I'd definitely say that Master of Orion 2 is the main inspiration for the game, for this reboot. And yeah, that's why many of the races that were in that game are in this reboot. So you can see here there's a number of stats that are associated with the Terrans. So they have a variety of traits. Their ship cost is 20% less. They get 25% extra beam attack. They have a 20% bonus to command points, which means they can have more ships than many other races within the game. And they start with the engineering tech, which I'll show you when we get into the actual game. I won't actually play the entirety of that voiceover because it'll take a bit too long to go through. You can see all of the different races though.
primal in their
They'll
ways.
have different bonuses.
Under
And their own voiceover from Michael
blazing
Dorn, of course.
savannas of
I'm not sure how good a job they've done with balancing. Some of the races definitely
harsh-
seem more powerful than the others, but
After
of course this is
ages.
early access. Things are subject to change. In fact,
primal in their
the first version
was
of the early
during the
access, they've made
darkest
changes
times
to
of
the
human
races
history that the
in the
age
second
of the
version
Khans
since the first
dawned.
one.
All
So let's
over their
actually
homeworld,
start a game.
civil unrest was mounting as society
Okay, so this is the new game match setup screen where you can pick your opponents and your map settings. Let's turn on show advanced settings. I'm going to be sticking to the default stuff mainly. Not all of the victory types are actually enabled in this second version of your early access currently available. Excellence is basically score victory. If you have to win via score victory, then you're probably not doing very well. The big band seed basically determines what map you're on. You can give that to a friend so they can play on the same map as you did, basically, should you wish. So let's have that, whatever that should be. You can change your opponents here. You can see here you can change them to different races. I don't believe I can have more than 5 opponents, sadly. I'm going to stick with the, pretty much all the default stuff. We'll have circle map. Galaxy size, I'll have medium, which I think that lasts a pretty long time actually, even on a medium map, the game time. Galaxy age, it doesn't give you a tooltip sadly to say what this means. I believe it's a type of planets you get. Difficulty level, this is something I'm going to change. I play on the hardest difficulty settings on pretty much every game I cover on the channel, and that's going to be no different with Master of Orion, so we're going to play it on very hard. That looks like pretty much the only thing I'm going to change here. I think I will change some of the races though. Both of these were added in this early version access version, so I'll keep those, you can see them. The other races, what do I want? I think we'll have the Cylon. They're kind of the, well, they very much look like the type of aliens that are found in most sci-fi things, so we'll keep them. Bullwrath or humans though, I guess we'll keep both of those as well. Right, so I believe that's everything set up. There is an intro video now. I'm going to remain quiet during that, and then I'll start the game.
After centuries of strife and misery, the age of the Khans began. It was a time of great struggle when dire circumstances called for radical solutions under ruthless and unwavering leadership. The price was dear, but through the iron rule of the Khans, mankind survived. Having pacified their home world of Alpha Ceti, the Terran Khani now seeks to expand its territories to secure the rightful place of humans in the galaxy until the end of time.
Good evening, Khan. My name is Emma. It would seem I've outranked my utility in the Ghost Brigades, and I've been reassigned as your adjutant. Together, we shall see to the protection of our people, and the perpetuation of the Age of Khans throughout the galaxy.
Okay, so that's the welcome screen. Every different civilization gets a different type of helper to help you navigate through all of the different screens within the game and different options. It's basically a tutorial type system. I don't believe there's a way to turn it off currently, which I might have considered because it's a let's play. I don't want it over talking me, so to speak. Yeah, it's actually pretty good so far, I found. If we go into the research screen here,
our engineers await your command, Khan.
we can see Emma in more detail, and she's definitely more pleasing on the eye than some of the helpers within the game. I'm going to be going through each and every one of these Empire options up here later on, so we can see what each one of those does. Let's actually zoom out so we can see the galactic map in more detail. So the game is very pretty. They've done a very good job with the graphics, in my opinion. So you can see over here, this is our starting system, Alpha Ceti Prime. And we have a ship to move, which Emma then mentioned about. So before I get started, I'm actually going to save the game. Okay, so let's keep Emma happy by selecting these ships.
My liege, a moment.
So exploration is paramount to our success. To move a fleet, left-click it to select it, and then right-click a destination, a planet, warpoint, star, or anomaly. To split a fleet, left-click a fleet, select any ships you want to split in the selected fleet window, and order them to move. Now, I'm not going to read every one of these tutorial screens, but for that one, why not? I can actually go back to check previous ones out here. So, that's pretty straightforward. To be honest, actually getting into this game I found to be incredibly easy. Now, I've played a lot of 4X based games, but I think for new players, Master of Orion would be a very good option if you want to get into this type of game. So, we've got basically warp points here, these lanes. Other games call them different things, like hyperpoints. I think they're going to be called in Stellaris, which I'm going to be featuring on the channel when it comes out in May. This reminds me very much of Endless Space as well. I think Massive Orion has been slightly influenced by that, at least this version of Massive Orion. Endless Space is probably influenced by Massive Orion 2 actually, so they've kind of taken bits off each other at some point. Right, let's start moving then anyway. So if I highlight over here, you can see it mentions a bit of detail about the star. Yellow stars. Average stars often have moderate mineral resources and tolerance to life, so that's probably got colonies there, or planets. This one, those stars probably aren't so good. So what I'm going to do is select the scouts to go over to there. There's actually a second planet in our starting system, so I should send a scout there, I guess. There's actually a gas giant which isn't colonizable, at least at the start of the game. You can get techs to make it colonizable later on, and we'll send a frigate there. We've actually found a few planets there with that sight from that ship, so that looks like it was a good decision. Yeah, so that's a pretty decent start, hopefully. Now, let's have a look at these Empire and various options up here. So let's click on Empire first of all. So this is the Empire Management screen where you can look at different statistics of your empire. I'm actually going to increase the tax rate straight away. So this basically gives you more money based on your amount of population. So you can see 26 for 4 billion credits and 18 for 3 billion. We have 8 population on Alpha Ceti, I believe it is. Empire Focus is basically an AI focus system where you can get it to do things for you. I'm not going to be using that at all in this game. I haven't really tried it out, and it's not something I use in 4X games because more often than not the AI just doesn't do a very good job. There aren't options within the game to say stop it from building certain things that you wouldn't want built. So you're at the mercy of whatever it decides based on those options if you do decide to use it. Okay, so that is the Empire Management screen. The research screen.
Our engineers await your command, Khan.
Let's actually pick a research. So this is the tech tree within the game, and if you've played a 4X space game, or any 4X game for that matter, this will be pretty familiar to you. It's a usual, very linear, long tech tree. It's nothing particularly exciting, but I think they've done a good job with it. They've added a lot of icons, they've color coded everything. You can hover over each and every item to see it in more detail. There are other 4X games that have gone for something different, like Beyond the Rising Tide, for example, went for a completely different type of tech tree. Stellaris is going for some card-based system, in effect, where you can choose from a few different techs and you don't have a lot of control over it. Endless Space 2 is going to have a different system to this. This reminds me of the linear, well, it's quite like Civilization 5 or Galactic Civilization 3, for example. They have a very linear tech tree. This is probably better than Galaxy 3's because it actually tells you about stuff which Galaxy 3 doesn't do such a good job with. Everything's color coded nicely. You also have the highlight option up here. So say for example you wanted to find all of the production buildings within the tree. You turn that on and they happen to be these orange icons here. And there's tons of different options there. So speaking of production, I think that's actually the first technology I'm going to select. I want to get automated factories.
A brief interruption.
Okay, and she's mentioned I can now end the turn, but I don't want to do that quite yet. Ship design. There's tactical combat within the game, which is a surprise for some Space 4X games, but you can basically redesign your ships, add tons of different modules by coming in here. I'm not going to be doing that quite yet. I'm going to discuss things in more detail when I actually cover them later on. The combat is real time, which is different to Mass of Orion 2, for example. I know some people are unhappy about that, but I actually think it works quite well. The problem with turn-based combat is it takes a long time, and that's why I believe they've gone for real time. So this is the diplomacy screen, and there's not much to show here yet because I haven't actually found anyone. Path to victory, all of the different victory types: score victory, conquest victory. Economic victory sadly isn't within the game yet. I believe diplomatic victory is based on the amount of population you have, but you have to find all of the races, or all the races have to find each other before that kicks in, I think, something along those lines. Planets, we only know one, and we can't colonize the gas giant. There's your fleet screen, so you can control that in more detail, and of course the options for saving. Right, I believe we've done everything this turn, apart from actually check out the home world, our planet, which is very important. Now, if there's one screen that really reminds me of Master of Orion 2, it's this one, because of these little people down here, the little population points. Now basically you move these around to alter your production, your food and research that your planet accrues. And these numbers here, they give you different amounts. This is based on the quality of your planet, mainly to do with the biome, which changes the food and production. Research is always the same, but it can be increased by technology, for example. All of these planet info options here, to be honest, they probably need to add some tooltips here to give it a bit more detail. Size, I believe that basically determines how many population points the planet can have. Biome is a mixture of things, the food and production mainly. Mineral is production, so you want a lot of minerals basically. You can terraform planets later on to increase the biome as well, but the size and the minerals you can't change. So the planets I'm probably going to be wanting to colonize early on are going to be large planets with lots of minerals probably. Gravity, normal in this instance, basically gravity alters how much production you get from planets. If you have low or high gravity, you tend to have a huge malus to your all different types of output. Some races have, like the Bulrathi for example, aren't affected by high gravity though. Special, so on our planets we actually have artifacts bonus, so we gain a tiny bit extra research. That's very handy. Not all planets have that, and all of these details I'll mention more about later on. Right, so we've actually already got a colony ship in the list, and that's actually been completed this turn. Now one thing I should mention is, sadly, in this version of the game there is no production overflow. So if I put a ton of production here, all of it would be wasted for the next item, which is really bad, and this causes a lot of problems. It basically means you have to micromanage a lot more. If there's one thing I could ask the developers to add in the next version of the game, or a future version of the game, is to have production overflow. I believe I'm 95 to 98% sure, well 100% sure really, that it doesn't work for production. For food I'm not sure, but I don't think it works. For research I think there might be overflow from what I've seen, but I haven't done a really big test on it. Right, since there's no production overflow, there's no point in sticking production this turn since that's going to be made automatically. So let's get some research on the go. So that's how I'm going to set up my capital on the first turn. And I believe I have done everything here, so let's end the turn. Okay, so turn ended. Economic advice. The first colony ship is ready. This vessel can settle a colony base in any inhabitable planet, carrying one population unit inside it. Colony ship has no weapons, so a military escort is recommended. Choose planets with good biomes to boost population growth and high mineral richness to increase production. Check the planet's gravity to see it affects its productivity. Okay, right, so before I do that though, what I'm going to do is go back to Alphacetti, and she's got more advice there about how to manage your economy. I won't read that. So I want to select something else. Now, sadly, I don't have any text really, so there's not many options here. I'm going to select the Space Factory though, which is a type of ship which allows you to construct certain buildings on certain waypoints, for example. Right, so that's added to the list. I'm going to switch around my production points back there so I can get it done pretty much as quickly as possible. So 4 turns seems to be about the most I can get it done in, so that'll be fine for me. The game adds little icons to let you know when something's been built or population has grown, which is really very useful, especially with the situation and production overflow. You don't want to be, well, you have to visit planets more often because of that. Right, let's get moving this turn then. So let's bring the scout down there. The frigate can move towards that system. I think the scouts I've got over there, I want to bring it down here. So you can get better engines later on, so you can travel these waypoints a lot quicker, but currently it's a bit slow. So where do I want to colonize? That's probably be a good idea. Perhaps that planet there is big. Hopefully it's not a gas giant. It's got a moon which certain buildings can improve. Yeah, so I'll bring that colony ship down there. So I believe that is it for the turn, so next turn. Later on I can use my money to buy buildings, for example. So I'm definitely going to be doing that. That's command points there, so that denotes how many ships you can build before they start to cost maintenance. Because with the Terrans we actually gained a 20% boost that. We're a very military type of civilization. So do tend to quite like to play with civilizations that are conquest focused in these types of games. Military advice. Before getting into combat it's important to consider the enemy strengths and blah 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 blah. Right. It's a while before we're going to get into combat probably. Although I haven't said that, we found some pirates. So there's the military strength there. So that's not good really, having pirates nearby, so I might have to do something about that. Might have to bring my frigate back down there. So what have I got to move? I've got scout, colony ship. Now the problem with these waypoints is I can't say, for example, move from this system to that system because there's no waypoint in between it. So there's a downside with it. I'm not sure if the original Master of Orion games actually had waypoint hyperlane systems. So I think some people weren't happy about that, but I kind of like it anyway. And Space uses it. Stellaris is kind of going to use it. It's pretty common in most Space for X games. Right, so I think I've done all of the movement I can do this turn. That symbol there means it's moved. Right, so let's move that on there. I think I want to find stuff quickly, so I'm actually going to move the frigate on there rather than look for a planet. Epsilon is a planet. Okay. Right, that is down to 2 turns. We're going to check this. Now if I move the production around here I can basically still do it in 2 turns, so it's a good idea to move it. Now if there was production overflow I wouldn't bother. I would just have the production go on to the next item, but since there's no overflow I don't want to waste production. So I'm actually going to put some into science there. So I'm probably going to be doing that every time I see, I'm not sure if you're able to see that, but there's a 2 there and that's the food on that side. So anytime there's a 2 or a 1 on these I'm going to check the planet at some stage to see if I can move the population around. Okay, which is going to take more time, but it's kind of necessary if I want to play decently and I don't want to waste production. Let's go and explore that with the scout there. So that is a medium world. It's not bad, but nothing super amazing. We found the Tripton system, which I haven't found a warp point to yet, sadly. Right, let's end the turn. Threatening fleet detected. Right, so still pirates. I don't think I'm going to look on that. I want to come down here as quick as I can.
Excuse me.
Okay, so we've got some tutorial advice from Emma again. Our scanners have detected an anomaly. These strange eddies are usually located off the usual war points between stars. They may be an SOS beacon of a derelict ship or a particularly dense resource cluster, but are usually worth the time to explore. In order to claim the anomaly, use one of your ships to scout it. The ship will move away from the war points and towards the anomaly and return to its starting point once it's been explored. So view anomaly. Okay, thanks. Right, so you can basically get extra goodies by going there. That system looks very, very good. Next, and the anomaly. Right, it's been found this turn. We're 2 turns away from getting that. Yeah, I'll keep it into science. What else? Got to move this turn. So the colony ship and the scouts. Let's get the scouts to go to there. That is... wow. Freaking hell, that planet is absolutely amazing. Wow, that's like near the perfect planet, so a bit of luck here already. In the time I've played this game so far, I don't think I've found a planet that good actually. This frigate, so can move on to here. I might not colonize that straight away though actually, because it's important to expand to prevent other opponents from expanding a lot, if you see what I mean. So I want to try and expand close to them to start. That system I definitely want to get sooner rather than later. There's probably pirates down there though. I want to bring a colony ship down there, but I'm going to need that frigate back. I think I'm going to send that there. Okay. So we'll find out later on if it's a mistake not to colonize that straight away. Center.
My liege, a moment.
Right, that's pirates. They're going towards my home world already. It's a bit unfortunate. Yeah, I definitely need my frigate back in this direction now. So I could use that space factory to upgrade the gas giant. It's a building thing that I can put on that, but I think I'm actually going to bring it down here. Scouts want to go to there. I'm going to bring that colony ship down there as well. That can move forwards. That
May I have a word?
Completed a factory, is it? I'm not sure what I completed. Economic advice. Let's get a factory up there. And switch this around. So the quickest I can get it done is 4 turns. Physics.
Our engineers have made a new discovery, my liege.
So we get a weapon there, which I can stick on my ships later on, but there's no need to yet. Can actually upgrade the blueprints
My
now,
liege,
which
a
I might as
moment,
well
please.
do. The starting tech we had, I'm not sure I mentioned, but we get a destroyer straight from the game start, which we don't really need yet, to be honest. I would have preferred probably this as the first tech. Let's go for government next. I probably need the research laboratory soon. There's a bit of extra morale which come in handy early game too as well. I'll talk about morale when we actually need to use it. Right, so the scouts, let's go and grab that anomaly.
Excuse me.
It looks like it's an electromagnetic disturbance nearby, so I might want to check that out in a bit as well. Okay, I think that's it for the turn. Next turn. These pirates are probably going to be a problem.
The anomaly turns out to be a derelict ship, floating eerily empty with no signs of its former crew. Your engineers report all systems are fully functional. Even if some crew members might refuse to board the ghost ship, it will make a great addition to your current fleet.
That's quite a reward at the start of the game. Never had that before. So we got frigate, and it was the one that I just upgraded as well, I believe. So both of those return today. I might be able to use that against the pirates. Let's move that. I'm going to bring that down here. I think I use a space factory to actually find those planets. That scout. Oh wow, this system actually connects to tons of systems via warp points, so it's probably very important for me to grab actually. I think send that over there first of all. Looks like we found another system there, but we don't have a warp point to it yet, so it probably comes off there perhaps. That's movement. I might not bring that frigate back now then. Right, let's end the turn. Okay. Let's move. So what's here? Colony ship moved this turn, the frigate hasn't. The frigate. What stars? That's yellow. It's orange. Both good stars. I think I'm gonna bring the frigate down here then. Okay, so there's one planet there. Colony. Don't know what I'm gonna do with that. It's got 2 turns on. That's fine. Sticky one more turn. Pirates come down here. It's a bit of a pain. Danubius was discovered. There's only one planet there. I'm going to use that to find what's on there. I wouldn't normally do this as a space factory. I should be building something with it, but I kind of need to find these worlds quickly, I guess. That colony ship I got a decision about, and that frigate. But you know what? I've probably been recording for around half an hour at this stage, so I'm actually going to call it an end of the video here. So that's it for this first video. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have, please help out by giving this video a like. I'm really grateful to those of you who do that, as it helps boost my videos in YouTube's search rankings, so people can actually find the videos. The whole point in making them is for people to watch them, so that really helps out. Apart from that, if you want to see more content like this, there's plenty more Master of Orion coming in the future on the channel. For this Let's Play and probably for future Let's Plays. Also, I'm going to be covering Stellaris when that's out in May, and Endless Space 2 is also out later on in the year. There's plenty of content for 4X games on my channel already. Please check out the homepage or the playlists. I've done Let's Plays and guide videos for Galactic Civilizations 3. There's also Beyond Earth Rising Tide I've covered, Alpha Centauri, Endless Space. I've done Let's Plays for Civilization 5. There are other games like Europa Universalis 4 and Pillars of Eternity I've also covered and done lots of guide videos for, so there's tons of content that you may be interested in. If you have any comments or questions about this series, or there's something you want to know about in more detail, please use the comments section. I respond to comments no matter how old a video is. I also have a Patreon page, which is a service where people can make small donations to help keep the channel going and basically last for many years to come. I really need your help basically, so please check my Patreon page out if you're interested in doing that. And I'm really grateful if you do that, and even more grateful if you do decide to become a Patreon of mine. Right, that's it for this first video. Thank you for watching again, and I'll see you in the next video.